What's something you did as a kid that still keeps you up at night? I used to make this kid cry every day. His name was Mason. Skinny, pale, twitchy hands. He wore the same faded sweatshirt every week and sat alone at lunch like it was part of his schedule. I don't have an excuse, not a good one. My dad had just left, my mom was breaking in half, and I guess I wanted to feel like I had power over something. So I picked Mason. Pencils knocked off his desk, his backpack unzipped by accident, nicknames loud enough for the class to hear, but soft enough that teachers never did. He'd just flinch, pick up his stuff, sit back down. Never fought back, never told, never even looked at me with anger. Just this sadness, like he'd already lost at something way bigger than me. One day, I took it too far. I threw his notebook out the bus window. I still remember the way it spiraled through the air, like a bird trying to flap its way back to him. He just stared at the window. Didn't cry, didn't yell, just looked tired. The bus went quiet. Nobody laughed, not even me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something about that look stuck in my head. I kept imagining someone doing that to me when my dad left, when we were eating cereal for dinner, and I felt sick. I told myself I'd apologize the next day. But Mason didn't come to school. He didn't come the day after that either, or the day after that. By the end of the week, there were rooms. Someone said he switched schools. Someone else said he'd had a breakdown. All I knew was he was gone, and I'd never said sorry. A year later, I was assigned to peer tutoring for extra credit. One of the kids on the list, Mason. I almost choked when I saw his name. He transferred back. I told the teacher I couldn't do it. She said people change. I didn't think he'd show up, but the next day he walked into the library with a stack of books. Taller now, same eyes. He sat across from me and said, "You're the one tutored me, right?" I nodded, couldn't meet his gaze. He opened his book and said, "Okay." That was it. For the next few weeks, we met every Tuesday and Thursday. I kept waiting for him to bring it up. He never did. He just asked about math problems and circled vocabulary words. One day, I finally broke. I said, "You remember, right? What I did?" He looked up, blinked, and nodded. "Yeah, I'm sorry. I was angry at everything. I didn't know how to deal with it, and I took it out on you." He stared at me for a long time. Then he said, "I figured." I nodded, ready for him to leave, but he didn't. He just turned back to his paper. "You were different this time. That's enough for me." We kept meeting all semester. One day, I showed him how to solve a word problem, and he actually smiled. It was small, but real. By senior year, we weren't best friends or anything, but we sat next to each other in homeroom. He'd ask about my weekend, I'd tell him about college apps. On the last day of school, he came up to me and handed me a folded piece of paper. He said, "Don't read it now, just when you need it." I read it that night. It said, "You were the first person who made me feel like I didn't belong. And later, you were the first person who made me feel like I could." I keep that note in my wallet. I've moved 3 times since then. I work with kids now, ones who throw chairs and scream and break down in hallways because they don't know where to put their pain. And every time I want to give up on one of them, I remember Mason, and how lucky I am that he didn't give up on me.